I'm Melissa.
We're from Espace Tricot, a great knit store in Montreal.
We are the owners, yes, of Espace Tricot. We've been open for about 6.5 years. Some of you know us from the store, from social media, but this is the first time that we've
launched into the
video podcasting world. There are a lot of podcasts out there, and I have become a complete addict over the last couple of months. I've been watching everybody and so enjoying them, and so just tuning in as often as I can. So I thought, why don't we give it a whirl?
Well, then I'm visiting Melissa from Montreal, so we decided that it would be a great time for us to introduce ourselves, get together, share our passion and our relationship with you. We have a great friendship, a great business partnership, and even though Melissa's in New Jersey and I'm in Montreal, it's amazing how a lot of our customers don't even realize we're not in the same city anymore.
I know. Maybe we should give a little bit of history. Yeah. So we were in Montreal together when we opened our store, obviously. But I had to move to the States about 3 years ago with my husband. And, at the time that decision was happening, we had to really
figure out if we were
gonna make it work, being in not just two different cities, but two different countries. But we decided to. It had been working so well until then, and we thought we could manage it. So we have continued to run the store completely together, and what's nice is that Lisa can come down here and visit, and I get up to Montreal quite often. So
and we had always said when we started this that we would either do it together or we wouldn't do it.
Not at all. Yeah.
So it was when Melissa announced that they were gonna potentially be moving. It was that decision: do we stop it and let it go, or do we do it together? Because there was no way that I was going to do it alone, and there was no way that she was going to do it alone, or open up a branch in New Jersey.
In the States, no.
So so we really had to, talk about it and see if we could make it work. But you know what? In the end, it wasn't so hard.
It wasn't such a big deal. It allowed me to really focus on getting our web store up and running, because when I was in Montreal, of course, I was always in the store and wanting to be in the store, and there was a lot to do in the store. But being here really allowed me to just focus and sit at my computer and get that up and going.
Yeah, exactly. Which has brought us to another level of business.
So, So, like we said, we've been running the store for about 6.5 years. We are at espacetricot.com if you're looking for us online. We have a blog at espacetricot.wordpress.com. We also are on Ravelry and Instagram and Facebook as espacetricot.com. That's ESPACETRICOT.com. And a lot of... in Quebec, because our store is in Montreal, we are obliged by law to have a name in French name. But we always laugh because Anglophones and Americans tend to pronounce our name Espace Tricot. Right. So we go by that. We answer to that as well.
And also, just for those of you who don't know what Espace Tricot means, it means knitting space. So in Espace French is space and Tricot is knit. So that's where that name comes from. Yeah. It took us a long time to try to figure out what name we wanted, because we wanted it not to be so difficult for English-speaking people, but it had to be in French, and so we went back and forth, and we decided that was what represented us the best. And our tagline, we have this little tagline called La Kniterie Moderne, which is sort of modern knitting. Now, kniterie does not exist in French. It was a name that we kind of made up, but it kind of had a nod to the Anglophone side of us. Yeah. So it's sort of like the modern knit shop is really what we wanted to create.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of a hodgepodge today in terms of what we're going to talk about. I think that we decided that we would talk a little bit about the history of Espace Tricot.
Exactly, and ourselves.
And ourselves and our backgrounds and how we came to open this store, and how we sort of manage things now. And then we would talk... our show notes are down here. That's why we're looking down here. We would talk about sort of our recent favorite projects that we've knit, and then some of the things that we have on the needles right now. We may get to some of our favorite tools in the process.
Things we want to knit.
And then depending on how all this goes, and if we you know, if we get positive feedback or if we feel like we can actually let this see the light of day, then we may be trying to do it more often, maybe once every 2 weeks or once a week. We'll see how it goes.
Also, now we're together, so it's fabulous because Melissa and I really feed off each other when we're together, and we have this great partnership. So it's going to be a little different because we'll be separated. So
right. It'll be a split screen.
Right. So it'll be Melissa in her living room in New Jersey, and it'll be me in my my kitchen probably in Montreal. So we'll see how that goes. Like everything we do, Melissa and I follow our gut. And we play it by ear, and when the moment's right, we jump on it.
Yeah. So here we are. So what do you want to start with?
So our little story of how we met. I'm going to start that story because I love it. So I had started knitting when my son was around 18 months. I had decided that I really wanted something for myself and get out of the house and just like not be in the baby thing. So I went and took a learn to knit class at this knit shop in our city, and so I took the class, and then they had a knit night every second week.
It was called Ariadne.
Yeah, it was a great shop, and they really got me started. And then unfortunately they've closed since then, but it was a really nice knitting community. And every second Thursday there was a knit night, and I used to go. And then one day, not too long after I started knitting, I was sitting at the table near the front door, and it was quite crowded, and then this person walked in, and she looked around, and I was like, oh my God, I love this person. She's like my coup de cœur. I right away knew that I was going to click with her, and then she looked around, and there was an empty seat next to me.
I know, and I was hopelessly like shy and self-conscious.
Because you were new to Montreal
I was new to Montreal and new to knitting, and just new to all of it, and I was like, oh my God, am I going to go and meet someone that or anybody? Are they going to be, you know, inclusive? And we met right away.
Right away, you said, "Oh, is this seat taken?" And I'm like, "It's yours," you know. So we started chatting, and it was like instantaneous.
It was love at first sight.
Yes, it was. So we started chatting and knitting and talking, and we were like totally obsessed.
How long ago was that? Was that like 7 or 8 years ago now?
Yeah, Gianluca was 18 months, and he's just turned 10, so it was 8 years ago.
And at that point, I think we had both been knitting for about 6 months.
Yeah, about not even. Yeah, a little bit around
months. there. And so we were both really new, and so we're
the same age.
And we're the same age. We won't say.
It might come out later.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. And so then we just started finding every opportunity we could to knit together. Lisa was taking a break from teaching.
I was a teacher, and I decided to stay home and raise my son for a few years.
3 years, yeah. And I had recently moved. My husband and I had been living in Germany with our son, and we had recently moved back to Montreal. I was working a full-time job, but it was from home. And what I found was that because I wasn't going out to a workplace, and it was quite difficult to meet people and which is why I decided to ask my mother to teach me how to knit. And I thought, I'm going to go, I like doing this kind of creative thing, and I'm going to go and see if I can find some like-minded people, and I took myself off to that knit night, that first knit night, and met Lisa, and the rest is sort of history.
It is. And it was great because Melissa lived in the area that I grew up in, that my parents still lived in. So Melissa and I, we would call each other and say, like one of us would say, do you want to go meet for an hour? And Melissa would take a lunch break, and I'd call my mom or my dad, and I'd say, can you take Gianluca for an hour or two? I'm going to go knit. So I'd bring him there, I'd go and knit, and there was a second cup right across the street
Coffee
from
shop.
you. Yeah, so we would go and have our coffee and knit, and it was really fabulous. And then as we started doing that, our husbands got along, and then our kids were, like, my son was quite
close
young,
in age,
but
2 years apart or so, right?
But then as our kids got older too, it was great because then the whole family got along. Melissa and I had each other, Tristan and Melissa and Gianluca had each other, and then Sean and Johannes had each other. So it was great.
So and then we were just knitting along, right? We were just knitting and knitting everything we could get our hands on, and learning new techniques. And I mean, we were ducks to water with the knitting.
Yeah, we were like improving our skills, and we were feeding off each other because it's hard to knit in isolation, and so that feedback of like, oh, should I knit this? What should I use? How's my gauge? Is it too tight?
Yeah.
Do you have any what yarn should I use? So we were each other's sounding boards. We were each other's knitting buddies.
Yeah, and we were developing, and so we were, and I was kind of a little. I was not loving my job that I had come back to Germany to take on, and Lisa was sort of deciding that you'd been at home for almost 2 years, 18 months, almost 2 years, I guess, and we were thinking about what you were going to do next.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't sure that I wanted to go back to teaching. I had been teaching for, since I was 16, I had been involved in the teaching, coaching atmosphere. So I was like, it's time for me to do something new. So this was, it took a few years, but we were just kind of always saying, it'd be nice to open up a shop. But what would we open up? A coffee shop, a bookshop?
Well, I feel that we opened the store within a year of knitting. Like, we had only been knitting for about a year.
Because Gianluca was about 3.5 when we opened the shop. So it was, I don't know. I can't, I mean,
he was older than 18 months when we met. We have to see because, we're coming up on 7 years old. How it actually happened. I mean, we had no business opening a shop. We were still pretty novice knitters and flying by the seat of our pants. But there was a tiny little yarn store in my neighborhood. And I had sort of become friendly with the owner, and it wasn't sort of a place that you could go and sit and knit, but I would spend enough time in there, fondling the yarn and chatting
with Eleanor.
So I became friendly with the owner, and she was from Ontario, and her husband had been transferred back to Ontario for work, and so she had asked me if I knew anybody who might be interested in taking over the space. So I think I just got right on the phone with Lisa and said, Lisa, are we opening a yarn store?
We're like,
yes, we're opening a yarn store. So Eleanor, the owner of that little store, was very kind. She just let us pick and choose a few of the yarns that we want, the yarn lines that we wanted to keep, and we took over the lease, and she cleared everything out. And I think from the time that we decided to open a yarn store until we opened the yarn store was about 3 months, right?
Yes, exactly. It was really quick. Yeah, we just launched ourselves full steam ahead. We had never been in business.
None of us have ever run a business, so it was a lot of learning on the job, as they say.
Exactly. I had never worked in retail. I never worked at cash register or credit card. It was fantastic. But Melissa and I are both.
And the thing we were most afraid of actually was whether or not we were going to be able to help. Expert knitters with their problems, and actually, so what we did was we engaged a expert knitter as a consultant in the store, to be there, when we needed her. So, and that was Mona, and Mona's still with us.
Yeah, it worked
many people know Mona. So, so we, and I think, would we consider ourselves expert knitters now? So 6.5 years
I don't
later?
know. I don't. I feel we have an expertise in a lot of things. There are still things that, like, when I make a really, really big mistake, like, I'll go, Amalia, Mona, I need your help, That's how I personally feel. I feel I'm a good knitter, a strong knitter. I know a lot about a lot of things, but sometimes when I'm doing a very technical pattern and I make a mistake, then sometimes I find some difficulty in finding myself. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like we can figure out anything, but we are, I mean, I think, I don't know, as in if you ever really stop learning with it,
And we're pretty resourceful, you and I. Excuse me, like if we're working on a pattern and it's 2:00 in the morning and we've made a mistake, we'll stay up and we'll work it through until we try to be able to
fix it. So we're dogs with bones.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
So then when we were open for about 3 years, I guess, just over 3 years, is when the big move happened, and I came down to the States.
Oh, but we moved our shop first. Remember?
We moved from a smaller space. We doubled. We sort of there had been a shop next to us that had closed its doors, so we were able to take over their space. So we moved from about under 500 square feet to 1,000 square feet.
Yeah. And it was just over the landing.
Still too small, of course.
It was a very close move. It was in the same building. It was just next door, but it was a great move.
Yeah. So and that's a good space. I mean, what we struggle with is not having a lot of storage, but we pack a lot in. Mm-hmm. But then, so I moved here and worked on building our online store, and that really took up a lot of. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Building an online store is a nightmare. And building an online store that, by law, because we were a Quebec business, had to be bilingual. Mm-hmm. Not that we wouldn't want to service our Francophone customers with a bilingual site, but it did make the process much more complicated.
Because the tools, and we couldn't launch the English without the French.
No.
So it wasn't say we'll launch the English, get all the bugs worked out, and then translated.
No,
so we had to do it at the same time, and some of the tools that we had access, like things weren't working. For example, when you pass an order and you have accents, and then there were all kinds of bugs. So that was the challenging part. But I think
and then getting everything photographed, and then getting everything translated, and getting everything updated, and it was a long process. I think it took even like a year and a half from the time that I was here working on it.
And we did a lot of it in-house, like Melissa really is responsible for the whole look and the feel of the website and translation from people who already work with us, staff we have in our store.
Yeah, so my background is originally in psychology, and then I had worked in research, and then I had retrained as a multimedia web specialist doing a little bit of like online graphic design and web development for companies and working as a freelancer. And I had moved to Germany with my husband and done that. When I moved back to Canada, it wasn't in that field, but I still obviously had those skills. So I was able to bring that to the store when we decided to go online and bring Espace Tricot to the people.
Exactly, that was great.
So that has saved us a lot because we can do a lot of it ourselves.
And we keep marveling because we obviously are from an age where we remember there was no internet, and so we're just amazed at how we can run our business so seamlessly, and we're not in the same city. Yeah,
it's only possible now.
Exactly.
I mean, in this time, right?
We have our meetings, our conference calls, and just even everything about business and finding new yarn lines and new products and contacting suppliers and dealing with different time zones.
Yeah.
It's really been
doable.
The only thing is I miss being together.
Exactly. That's the
hard part, And so what happens is whenever we get together,
I miss having a direct access to all my yarn stash,
having it all at her fingertips.
Okay, send me this, send me that, send me this. Okay, you need to put a lot of yarn in the mail for me today.
I know. So it's so funny. Like I've been here since it's Monday, so I got here Friday. I think. We got here Friday, and then. So, the whole point of this, well, not the whole point, but one of the big focuses of the trip was for us to prepare for this launch of our video blog. But, we've got all the social and the personal things.
So we didn't get to even talking about it till this morning. So that's why it's going to seem a bit haphazard. And
Johannes was like, what? You guys still haven't organized it? What have you been doing? I'm like, there's a lot of social to catch up on.
It's like 1 o'clock and we've been talking about recording all morning and just starting.
And here we are. Great. So
that's who we are, and that's
our little history.
So I don't know. Do you want to start with some of the things you're working on?
Well, let me start with this because I just did it.
Oh yeah, Lisa stayed up till 3. That's why we're starting late too, because Lisa stayed up till 3 finishing her hat.
So I got a new coat, and of course I always wear black and gray. I got a little bit of color this morning, but I'm pretty much black and gray. So, but I got a coat that's blue. I'm like, oh my god, I don't think the black's gonna go with the blue. So I needed to go like gray to go with the blue. So I put together this hat. It's a 1x1 rib. And I've done it in Woolfolk with silk cloud stranding.
The far, right?
The far, yes.
Do you have a skein of that that you can show?
No, I have a ball of it. I should have. It's upstairs with my stuff.
Okay.
But Melissa is. Melissa is the queen of stranding with silk cloud. So I'm not a fuzzy girl. I'm like really more tailored.
I'm all about the halo.
She's all about the halo. So after all these years of being together, I've gone to the dark side. So I did a 1x1 rib and hat, and it's a bit of a slouch hat. And just to show you, this is how much I had left of the skein. So last night I'm in my bed of the far, and I was like, oh, am I going to make it? I'm going to make it. So I don't know if I need to suggest more than one skein of far.
So you'll have to write up that pattern and then...
Exactly. So let me show what it looks like.
Adamant that people either get gauge or go a little bit shorter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think if you shaved off a half, like before I started my decreases, I did 8 inches. So you might want to do 7.5.
Okay, and it's just a 1x1 rib with a super cute slouch.
I need Melissa to style me because she knows how to. Every time I'm with her, she fixes my hat.
Look how nice that is. I love it.
So that's my my hat, and we're gonna be. We have to find a name.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, so I don't know. It's
So how I was thinking like
you guys, it's a 1x1 rib. It's like if you felt the Woolfolk far, which is this incredible merino that is it's softer than cashmere. And then actually, the silk, the mohair and silk cloud.
I don't know, like I have a skein of it. Just it's a chainette merino, extra fine.
Yeah, hold it up to the
up here. Okay, there we go.
It's focusing quite well.
Yeah, there we go. So that's that.
Okay, so
or even on my silk cloud. Look at that.
Okay, and then that's the silk cloud. So that's stranded with the that's
fun.
from Shibui, silk cloud, and so we were just talking about this right before we started recording, and we thought, well, what are we going to call it? You know, you're going to write it up as a pattern and post it to Ravelry. What are we going to call it? And then we thought what would be fun is maybe ask you guys what you think we should call it.
Give us some ideas, because
give us some ideas.
I mean, I knit the hat because I was coming to New York and I wanted a new hat for my coat, and I knit the whole thing here. So I started it here.
And we did, and just just to say that we didn't stay here for the last few days. We actually decided to explore Brooklyn a little bit and stayed in a hotel in Brooklyn. So I would say it's like kind of like a
Brooklyn, New York kind of hat.
Yeah.
So
let's call it
if you can give us some ideas.
Yeah, so what I thought we would do is we would open up a thread on our Ravelry discussion page, and you guys can send us your suggestions, and then we will randomly select from anyone who's given us a suggestion, and we will send you a ball of far.
Well, yeah, we'll select one person.
Yeah.
And whoever
using
wins.
Using a random number generator.
Yeah, perfect.
It doesn't mean that we have to choose the name you selected. It just means that if you've made an effort to suggest a name, you will be entered in the list, and you could win a skein of far. So
which
that
is
would be
luscious.
Yeah.
And we should say that Woolfolk is owned by our wonderful friend Kristen. Mm-hmm. Who just launched the company a couple years ago, and it's a wonderful person. She's wonderful to work with. A great business,
really beautiful
relationship there. So that's
okay. And you're gonna do a matching
yes.
cowl, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna do a matching double cowl, 1x1 rib,
like an infinity cowl.
Yeah, so an infinity cowl, and that'll be like available, I guess.
Same texture, maybe a slightly bigger needle. For the cowl.
Yeah, maybe. So I haven't figured that out, but I'll work on that.
Okay.
So that's my hat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. How about, your Cirrus.
Oh, okay. So this is one of I don't knit that many garments for myself actually, but I fell in love with this pattern last year. Mm-hmm. Now I forget who the designer of it is. It is a Shibui pattern, and it's called Cirrus, and it's this crazy shape. It's like a great big bat wing sweater. Are you going to look it up?
Yeah. Ravelry right here.
And it's open. You'll see it's open down here. Super fun, easy to knit. Of course, it's Shibui Pebble stranded with Nancy O'Connell is the designer, and it's called Cirrus, Cirrus. It's a Shibui pattern, and it is Pebble stranded with
silk cloud.
If you can see that halo with the silk cloud. You see it? Isn't it beautiful? It's the softest, most luscious, most cozy sweater. So I live in it. So I highly recommend the yarns. This is a small, medium size. We have seen somebody at one of our trade shows. We've seen, and have any of our customers made the larger one? I feel like the larger one is quite roomy. So if you're wondering what size to make.
What size did you make?
Small, medium.
Small, medium.
So the small, medium fits quite a lot. Almost like a one size, you know.
Yeah, it's a good size.
So so this is one of my sort of favorite recently finished pieces, and I wear it a lot. I knit a lot with black. I've also recently finished these mitts. You guys have probably seen it. We just lost all our light. I'm sorry. Hopefully the sun will come back. I have posted these mittens on our Instagram page. These are actually a free pattern that we just posted. It was a couple weeks ago. Yeah. It's called Basic Mittens, and they truly are basic mittens. But again, I took a worsted weight hand-dyed yarn. I think it was the Madelinetosh vintage, and I stranded it with silk cloud. You see the halo? Love it. So the silk cloud in the black, and again they're the coziest. They are the most basic, cozy, lovely mittens. So I'm getting a lot of wear out of those as well.
You just match your Cirrus
and they
perfectly.
match me perfectly. Exactly. So highly recommend those. Those are basic mittens. They are a free pattern. Most of the patterns that we publish are free, and they're available on the free pattern page of our blog, which is espacetricot.wordpress.com.
And I don't have that many knitted things with me because I was trying to pack light coming to visit Melissa. But I am wearing my Vertices Unite. This is not something recent. I knitted a while ago, but I love the shape, and I've added some color. I have some purple and some yellow. I know, but then if I take it off, then I can never put it back.
But you have to talk about each of the yarns that you use.
Well, basically, it's almost all Anzula squishy, except for the purple here, which is beautiful. Merino Silk Fine by Sweet Georgia.
Yeah.
So I really love the Vertices Unite by Stephen West.
So this is the Temperance colorway?
Yeah.
And do you know what
my goodness,
Elephant or?
The elephant is darker. There's seaside in there, but it's all on our Ravelry page.
Okay.
All the colors that I've used for this, but there's Temperance, seaside, and then there's elephant and all kinds of.
So we knit. Obviously, grays. Lisa and I. One of the things that was really important to us when we opened our store was that we had samples, lots and lots of samples in the store. So those first years. Now we do outsource some of our knitting to our consultants. But we have more than 300, I think, samples in the store. Yeah. And every single one of our samples has been photographed and is on our Ravelry page. So if you see anything here, I will create a thread on Ravelry in our discussion forum, where we will have show notes, I guess, for each individual, week to talk to list sort of what we talked about and what the yarns were. But if you see anything that we're wearing, there's a 100% chance that it is on our
project page.
On our project page on Ravelry.
Once in a while, there's one that escapes us, and then we're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that's on!" And then the next day, Melissa's on it, and she's posted it on our Ravelry page. So that's good. So this, I just love the shape. I did the large size, so it's very big. I seem to like to do very large projects, but this is a pattern that I keep wanting to come back to. So I'm actually doing a Woolfolk far version in one color. And it's because I love the shape so much that I thought it'd be interesting doing it in one color, because the way the pattern goes, you change directions all the time. So it's interesting. It's all garter, but going in different directions, and then the seams. And Stephen West is so clever in how he designs his shawls that sometimes you pick up, sometimes you knit two together, sometimes you do short rows. So when you have the seams, they're just as beautiful as that.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like an architectural piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting for me to see what it looks like in one color. So that's
it's kind of like that all white Lego.
Yeah, exactly. The architecture Lego. Yeah, that's a really good reference. We were in the Lego store yesterday, so
shopping for the boys.
Exactly. So that brought us to think of that. So there's that. Oh, also we want to talk about this hat that.
Do you want to? Okay, no, go ahead. Yeah, no. I was just thinking about the Vertices Unite and whether or not we should show a picture of it. But
yeah, well, why not? Like, let's finish. Oh, also you have in the back there. You have your hedgehog.
Oh, yeah. We'll
do that later.
About that after.
Okay, so we.
I mean, a lot of people are probably familiar with the Vertices Unite pattern, but
it's
this new Stephen West book is just so great.
Yes,
exactly. It has a lot of the things we've actually knit. Oh, it's backwards.
Well,
Is that backwards? Will that be backwards for people?
Yes, I think. I don't know.
For us?
I guess we'll find out when we watch it. Okay. So this is this is the Vertices Unite photo.
How fabulous is that?
And I just love the way he styled this. Actually, I could never wear those colors, but they're just. I find this picture brilliant. Like, the color is spectacular, and that's why I have so many blanket projects that are works in progress, because I love the color and knitting with color, but I would never wear it. So in a blanket, it seems acceptable. This is also another
neutral version.
Yeah.
Can you hold it a bit closer to the camera?
I guess we are going to get practice on doing this, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the Vertices Unite, and it's very motivating, and that's what I'm working on right now.
So we highly recommend this book as well. I mean, it seems to sort of have all of our favorite
the color
West
craving,
patterns,
the
lots of the ones that we've done.
The excuse me, which we were both like, oh, that'd be like amazing.
We haven't done that one yet, but we do want to cast it on.
And we've already have some of these patterns that we bought when we created the sample, because we made the samples before the book came out. But the book is just so beautiful, and he's rephotographed a lot of the patterns with new versions. So it's like a really pretty coffee table book.
Nice coffee table book. It's just a nice book to have. You can get every single one of the patterns that's in this book individually on Ravelry as a PDF, but it is a beautiful book. So we all, we have to have that one at home, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So did you want to do this hat, or did you want to talk about something else?
Well, you want to talk about your hat, and then I'll tell you that you should be embarrassed wearing that?
It's funny because my dad's Italian, and he has these funny little expressions. So one of them that I'm always telling Melissa, shy to go like that.
Meaning you're not embarrassed?
You're not embarrassed? So she saw me with this, and she goes, shy to wear that hat in public?
Okay, this is a nice hat. What is it? It's the Cocoon hat by...
La Maison Rillilie.
But look at this.
Cocoon by
We
La
have
Maison
all
Rillilie.
the tools. And Lisa is going out with the pilliest... most disgusting
in New York City too. For God's sake.
Like you knew you were coming to New York, and that's the hat you bring. Or you didn't even.
It's my warm hat. It was cold in Montreal, and it's done with Cascade 128 Superwash.
Okay,
which we love.
Obviously, it pills a bit.
Yeah,
but all yarn pills.
Yeah, the softer, the
the single plies especially. Surely everyone's heard about the Gleaner now.
Let's hope so.
Right? So why don't you talk a little bit about Kim and the Gleaner?
Oh, okay.
So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to glean this hat in real time and show you guys how fabulous it is.
You want to take the book off, or you want to do it on the book? Okay, great. So when we first opened the store, it was really early on, like the first couple of months. One of our customers, Barbara, came in and she said, "Oh, my daughter-in-law's sister-in-law is creating this product, and it's to take off pills. And she gave me a prototype. Would you like to try it?" We're like, "Sure, bring it on." Why not? So she brought it into the store. We used it. And within 5 seconds, we're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! We need it." But we couldn't order them because it was just the prototype. So right away, we contacted Kim Cole from the Gleaner.
She's the
creator, and she lives in Montreal. And we said, "As soon as you have your first batch ready to go, we want." So we've really had the product since the beginning, and Kim is just like a total dynamo sweetheart. She's really grown her company from this idea that she had to this amazing,
inspired by Oprah. I think,
yes,
right?
yeah, exactly. Her story was inspired by Oprah and following her dreams, and if she had an idea, to go for it,
to pursue it, right?
And yes, exactly. And she's very, very sweet, but a really smart businesswoman. And oftentimes we ask her for advice, and we get together with her, and if we have some ideas about things we want to do and how to go about it. So she's been a little bit of a mentor for us. And then we got her connected to the knitting world, because she wasn't really aware that there was this whole knitting world out there.
The Gleaner was not originally designed to be something that would be marketed to knitters, right?
No, exactly. And so she just was amazed at this whole knitting world, and we told her that we used the Gleaner. So we were sort of like a new market for her, and she was worried that maybe the Gleaner wouldn't work on hand knits, or fine cashmeres. Yeah, she had said that to us. And then she's like, "Oh my God, it's..." Yeah.
But it is specifically designed for, so here, you can talk about the
blades.
The different blades, because there is it's volcanic rock, and it's, it is in 3 different, what would you call them? Levels of abrasiveness?
Yeah, I guess so, eh? Heavy thicknesses of pills.
Yeah, but also the fineness of the fabric. So there's a very, very, the third one is a very, very fine one, and it is more than safe to use that on your fine cashmere.
Exactly. Yeah, it says right here, for wool, cotton, cashmere, fleece, acrylic, polyester, rayon.
For everything, yeah.
So, Kim has grown her company. She has the Gleaner. She has these wool dryer balls. She has tote bags. She has a pet attachment. So she's really grown her company quite a lot, have these products. But
not for brushing your pet, but for getting the hair, the pet hair off your sofa.
But some people have used it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They've used it to brush on their pet.
No way.
Yeah, and they think it's fabulous. So, you can find new uses for products.
It's kind of rubber,
sure.
So the rubber, it's a rubber attachment.
Yeah, that you put on this edge right here.
Yeah, and so the hair just, of course, sticks to it, right?
So it's so funny, because every time people come into our store, and as soon as one person asks about it, it's sort of like all these people start gathering around it, and then we always sell a few at a time, and I always feel like I'm doing an infomercial when I talk about the Gleaner, because it's really an incredible product. We believe in it, we love it, we swear by it, and we both have one like sort of where our coats are when we leave the house.
I have like at least 2 or 3, and I keep them in different places.
So in the morning, a lot of times I put on a sweater, and oftentimes it pills under the arms, and I just take my Gleaner and I
and there's so it was especially great when she came out with, this is the standard size, but she came out with the travel size. That's a nice one to just carry around in your bag to always have with you.
So we really love this product because, a lot of times people come in and say, I want a yarn that doesn't pill, but really, eventually, every yarn will pill. So what we say is you really need to keep up your knits, you need to keep them up. And so having the Gleaner really helps your knits look like new again. You put so much effort in knitting them that it's nice to have them look like new.
It's new.
Here's our infomercial.
It's totally new. No, I'm serious. Okay, so all these little pills just came off.
And there we go.
And look.
And now I can go back.
You don't have to be embarrassed anymore, Lisa. Look, it's truly, I think it's magical.
It is. Thank you, Madame.
You're welcome.
Melissa's like my head stylist. She makes sure I look good and keeps me looking stylish.
That's good.
So this is the Cocoon hat by Maison Rillilie. I did it in Cascade 128 Superwash. One skein. I did the pointy version. I think if you do the round version, you might need 2, but the pointy version, there's 2 versions. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I did the smaller size, but I've also knit the smaller size for men. And
really?
And it's perfect.
Okay.
Unless your man
Did
has quite a big.
Did you make one for Sean like that? Or?
No, I made it for Shal at.
But like a man.
Yeah, a man, and a friend of ours, and I made it for him, and I did the small size. His head is not. He's a little bit bigger than mine, but it stretched nicely, and it's nice on him. And I wanted to say that I just did a regular cast on. Pattern called for a tubular cast on, but I kind of like the look of just the regular cast on. Yeah. So that was that.
I mean, it looks great.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa.
So I used the roughest, I guess, edge for that. This is great if you do felted projects, felted bags, that kind of thing. And then you can just chip.
You even done your coat, your wool coat?
Oh, yeah, I've done my coat. I do my furniture. I do my
your carpet.
Everything. So, the Gleaner, get one.
Yeah, get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's hot. It's a great Christmas gift. Every knitter needs one. Actually, every person needs one. Yeah,
exactly. Not even just
okay,
knitters.
So should I talk about this one?
Yes, this is Melissa's I can't tell you, every time Melissa wears this, whether we've gone to TNA, we're walking down the street in Montreal, we're in New York, we're in a shopping center in New Jersey, wherever we go.
We get stopped.
Melissa gets stopped all the time.
So
I'm going to take it home and wear it so I can get stopped.
So this is a pattern by Martina Behm called Match and Move. It's not a newly knit pattern. I think it's about a year and a half old now. I'll just show it up. I've done it with it's not really showing the colors accurately. This is a super, super vibrant.
Yeah, it's grasshopper.
It's grasshopper. It's Madelinetosh. This is all entirely done with Madelinetosh Light. And what was fun about this project is that if you know the Match and Move product shawl at all by Martina, it is just a 2-color shawl. But I love the shape of it. And I had all this leftover Tosh Light from projects that I had knit as store samples and
also
it's just like all
the what's that one we did for the knit along, one of the mystery shawls, you did these colors.
Oh yeah, the Stephen West Exploration Station. So I had some left over from that. From at least 5 or 6 different projects. I had balls left over. So I had all these colors left over, and of course they were all in my favorite colors. Black, charcoal,
green,
the dark green,
chartreuse,
the brown, the chartreuse, the beige. I think that's antique lace. Okay, so maybe I should talk about the colors. I think that's onyx. So it's like a lightish. Yeah. I think that's charcoal. Then onyx. Then antique lace. Then grasshopper. The black is onyx. I think this is tern. This is not jade.
No, it's
Grove. It's Grove.
Which is discontinued, I believe.
I know. I think Grove is discontinued. It's Grove. And
it's not Whiskers.
No, it's the one I did that sweater with.
Let me check.
I will leave. Listen, all of the details about this particular shawl and the colors are included on our Ravelry project page. Right?
Yes, they are. I'm looking that up right now.
Okay, love it. Wear it as a shawl. Wear it as a scarf. Wear it as a.
Everything. Okay, here it is. Weathered frame.
That's it.
So all those colors are still available except Grove. So
yeah, but I think there's a nice substitute that is.
That's available. And what's the? Okay.
So, love it. Very, very. And what was fun about this was I had all the sort of remnant balls lined up. And every time I got to the end of a section, I would ask my son to pick the color he thought should be the next one. So I would say that 90% of the order of this shawl was chosen by him.
Look at that.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah, I think so. Well, obviously he did, Melissa, because everybody
Well, I think and those colors are just so nice together. So
actually, now that I'm on Ravelry, it's amazing. Like here we are doing our blog, and we've got Ravelry, which is amazing. So I just wanted to tell you, for my Vertices Unite, we were right with the colors. Anzula Squishy, we did Temperance, Seaside, Charcoal, and Hippo.
Okay.
And then,
Hippo.
And then the Sweet Georgia Merino Silk Fine in Ultraviolet. So those were the colors. And, just as we're talking about Ravelry, Melissa and I were just yesterday talking about how Ravelry really revolutionized knitting.
Right?
And it's amazing. Like, I really shout out to them for having the idea, the concept, sticking with it, growing it. Because without Ravelry, we wouldn't be the knitters that we are today.
No.
And we wouldn't have the forum as a store to
and it's just allowed that community to develop.
Yeah.
And I think between Ravelry and Instagram now, I think those are really the places where knitters are hanging out and showing what they're working on and sharing with each other. So we were very, very late to the Instagram party.
Everyone kept telling us, you should be on Instagram. You should be on Instagram.
And all I could do to manage our blog and our Facebook page. We were also late to Facebook. I think we were just focusing on the blog and our website at first.
And Ravelry.
Ravelry.
Yeah, that's where we were kind of focusing it.
And
then, I mean, it's maybe, for those of you who know us and know me, I'm not a big social media person. I'm still slower.
I'm getting her to post pictures on Instagram. Now she's doing it.
But like every time I post a picture, I send Melissa a message. Did you see I posted a picture? So I'm trying, but it's not my natural tendency, and I'm not savvy with all of that stuff. But Melissa's nudging me and encouring me, and
I know, because if you're not savvy at this age, you're going to be in trouble when you're 80.
Oh goodness. So so any other projects, Melissa?
Our
finished? Socks. Our sock.
Well, yours are finished.
Mine are finished, but
the rest are. I think
you have one finished.
Yeah. So are we going to move on to works in progress?
Or what about this one? Are we going to talk about this?
Oh, I think we'll do that at the end.
Okay.
We have a new. You might see it in the background here. A new pattern that we're just developing, and the prototype has just been finished, so we might share that to you before we sign off, and we will spend the next week or so writing up the pattern, and I may even. And we'll talk about it in the sort of like the wish list or WIPs, because I'm going to cast on another one of these. This one was knit by Mona, and I'm going to cast one on for myself, I think, and I have 2 color choices. So anyway, we will get to that. So do you want to talk about? Do you have any WIPs?
So I just have.
Well,
I have
that
2
scarf.
Yeah.
Actually.
So this has been a coup de cœur for us for so many of our customers.
For people who don't know what a coup de cœur is,
it is like. Your
it
love,
grabs your heart.
It grabs your heart. Your heart beats faster. It's love at first sight. So I know sometimes I'll throw in a little French expression, being in Montreal and being completely bilingual and speaking in French all the time. So that's where it comes from. So this is the Seafaring scarf from Purl Soho. It's amazing. We've done it in the Drops Cloud. And we just can't keep enough of that Drops Cloud in stock.
For that scarf
exactly.
Right?
So we've just placed another order, and hopefully it's going to be coming in this week. And the scarf takes 6 balls. So this is the one that Melissa has done. for herself
all the time
in charcoal.
Yeah, of course.
How original.
You see that? It's a beautiful texture. What's nice is it looks huge, but that it's like one of those blown yarn, so it's so lofty and airy. So even though it's 6 skeins, it really is.
Oh, it feels
it's weightless,
light.
you know.
And I do. Melissa and I both do a lot of knitting classes at our kids' schools.
Yeah.
And so I have 3 teachers who one just finished,
knitting all that?
and
Yeah.
two of them have finished, and one is starting a second one. So it's been very popular. So I've just moved. If some of you might been following our blog or Instagram, you know that I just moved, and so my living room has sort of changed colors, and I decided, you know what, that would be a great cozy blanket. So I cast on, what did we say? 111 stitches on a 10 millimeter.
How fabulous would
and
that be?
I chose the wheat color, which is a creamy color, and it's a very, very fast knit. If I didn't have to do all my other projects, I would have been finished that. I mean, you could.
How many balls do you think it'll take?
I took 24 balls from the store. I don't think I'll use 24, but I'm thinking maybe I would do 18 or 20.
Yeah.
I haven't, because I had to make a dog sweater, I had to make some hats, so
and
I
as far
put
as
on the
blanket,
side.
I mean, as far as yarns go, it is one of the more economical ones.
Exactly.
Drops yarns are economical for what you get.
Yeah.
So even if you are doing a 20 ball blanket, what is it, Canadian? It's like $9.95
yeah,
or something?
exactly. But the quality, like you could not buy a blanket for that quality.
No.
So and I mean, if I just motored along, I could easily have finished that blanket like for sure in 3 weeks. Super easy, even less time, because one ball is just
one after another, right?
Yeah, one after another. So anyway, so that's one of my works in progress that I'm working on.
Okay, so drops cloud, get it. It's great.
Get it while it's hot. So do you want to do you want me to do all mine, or you want to do yours?
Your works in progress?
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay,
so
I
what you're working on
again. I didn't. So I have all my blankets. We're not going to talk about all those blankets I have in progress.
Well, because if we do continue with this whole podcast,
we'll see them as they go.
So
currently, what I have is that blanket that I'm going to do my 1x1 rib scarf in far with Silk Cloud, my infinity scarf that I'm going to do. And my Vertices Unite, which I already talked about in the far. So it seems like I'm all about the far. I'm on a far. That's what happens to us. We get a focus. Yeah. We get a kick. And right now I'm on the far. So there's the cowl, that, and the Seafaring blanket. I do also have Artfil Belle. I want to make myself a hat. It's more of like because what happened was I did the Simple Pleasures hat.
We should talk about Artfil Belle a little bit.
Yeah, we
just
will.
How she.
Yeah, so I'll just say that Simple Pleasures, the Purl Soho pattern.
Oh yeah.
So I knit that quite a while ago, but my husband recently decided that he's getting colder now, and we live now in an area where we're walking a lot. So he kind of took my hat, and it looks really good on him.
The Simple Pleasures hat?
Yeah, in black.
Really?
Yeah, it looks fabulous on him. The shape.
I've not thought of that as a guy's hat,
me neither. But then I said, why don't you try this on, Sean? Because it's a little bit loose on me.
Yeah.
So, and it's more of my fall spring hat because I get very cold, so I needed something warmer, and it looks really fabulous on him. I'll have to take a picture.
Yeah, do it because I think that people don't think of that as a guy's hat.
So I give it to him, and so I want to make myself another similar one, but I'm going to knit a little bit tighter. So, so that I'm going to knit with Artfil Belle. So Artfil is sort of a new company that's on the scene. It's from Quebec in Laval, which is just off the island of Montreal, so not 25-minute drive from where our shop is. So this is this is the company Artfil, but this is not Belle. This is Mericana DK, which is a new yarn from her that we just got in
last week.
Exactly, and I'm wearing. I mean, it's kind of. They're black socks. This is the Scrumptiouspurl. This is actually the pattern.
The Scrumptious striped socks.
Exactly.
Without stripes, obviously.
Yes. So I'm doing
just knit straight up.
So I used Artfil Belle to knit these, and that company. So do you want to?
So what is it? So Artfil Belle is their fingering weight.
Yes.
It's 100. That's 80% merino, 20% nylon.
Yes, I believe, or 25. I need to check that.
Okay, and then the Mericana is her DK weight. It's a beautiful yarn with a beautiful twist. And what's unique about the Artfil is that it's a hand-painted yarn, but it's eco-friendly in the sense that she actually does not use much in the way of water in the dyeing of her yarn. She sprays it. She's developed this very unique technique. I think it's unique, right?
Yes.
I think that she's sort of pioneering it where she actually spray paints the yarn with really like a spray gun, right? Yeah. Like a spray gun. And so it uses, I forget what the percentage it uses like 5% of the water that I can't remember. We have dyeing takes. So
there's the information on our on her website, and we have it in the store. So maybe we could link to that as well.
We'll have some more information about that. So
it is, by the way, the Belle is 20% nylon, 80% merino.
Okay, superwash. But this one is 100% merino, the DK.
Yeah.
It's 244 meters a ball, so it's generous for a DK.
Yeah.
So we haven't knit with this yet, but one of the things we're discussing this weekend is what store sample we're going to work up with it. So we'll stay tuned for that.
And Yana and Stan are the couple owners, that own the company, and they're such hard workers and so accommodating, and they hand deliver their yarn to us, and really lovely. Like, we're so fortunate in this business.
Yeah, we have some nice people around us. We also have Tanis Fiber Arts near us, and she's been an incredible supplier to us for the last few years. I think we were the last yarn store actually carrying Tanis Fiber Arts yarns, because she changed her business model a little bit and decided to sell exclusively herself, but she very kindly let us continue carrying the Tanis.
And we should do a shout out to Julie Asselin, who's another one of our great...
Julie Asselin is also local to us.
Exactly. She's fantastic. So we have her, and we're going to definitely be talking about her because we're knitting up lots of projects with her yarn.
And we just got her new speckled yarns in, which she's developed a new process for dyeing her speckled yarns. So they're just beautiful. And I think a lot of people have actually seen them on Instagram, and there was a really strong response to them, actually. So we decided to order them all, of course. So we just
do you want to? I just noticed we're low on batteries. Should I go?
So we're gonna pause this, and we're gonna go and get a plug. Okay. So we're back. We were talking about the fact that we were so lucky to have some independent yarn dyers and suppliers close to us in Montreal. So we talked about Artfil. We talked about Julie Asselin. We talked about Tanis Fiber Arts, which brings me to one of my current works in progress, and that is a pair of socks. I have to say, I have not been a big sock knitter, but like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I have been watching a lot of podcasters.
In the name of research.
No, in the name of, maybe interest. Starting in the name of research, but really, I love you all. I watch The Grocery Girls. I watch Knitting Expat. I watch Legacy Knits. I watch Eric in Toronto. That Sticks and Twine.
The Ravelry sweater.
Inside Number 23. Katie. Hi, Katie. Christy Glass. I watch them all. So, Homespun House in Germany. Anyway, everybody's knitting socks all the time, and so I'm like, I gotta maybe try that some more. I have knit socks. I just haven't knit a lot of socks. I thought maybe that's something I should try again just to be part of the crowd. So I did. I knit them on. I have to say I'm loving it. Now, Scrumptiouspurl is a yarn line that Samantha Perot in Montreal has developed, and
their mom too. Now.
With her mom also. And they are keeping us in the most beautiful striped. So, and these are, mathematically calculated to give you perfectly striped socks. Look at those. They're perfect. It's like 4 or 5. This is a 64 stitch sock on a 2.5 millimeter needle. And I would say it's like 1, 2, 3, like 5 or 6 rows per color.
And that's for like an 8.5 foot.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So I am enjoying the sock knitting, and now I want to knit all of the colorways. This is called Cigar Lounge. How great is that? What's this one? Come Sail Away. This was a new one, I think, in the summer.
And that's the hat. I knit a hat.
You just knit a hat for a Gianluca, right?
Yeah, I put that on.
This is Lemon Sour.
Instagram.
Right? Whoops! Ah. This is the Espace Tricot colorway.
It's a little more vibrant in person.
It might actually be vibrant when on the playback.
Oh, okay.
But we'll have to see. This is all being tested. But this is our chartreuse. So Lisa and I basically knit with charcoal black, cream gray, light gray. But when we do knit with color, my sort of color of choice is the chartreuse, and you tend to inject some pink. Fuchsia highlights. So Samantha developed this great color for us, which combined those three elements. And so we have a free pattern for socks knit with this anyway, called the Scrumptious striped socks. It's also available for free on our blog.
And Mona created that pattern.
And Mona Schmidt is a great designer, and we're lucky enough to have her working with us. So she wrote that up for us, and that's available on our blog, espacetricot.wordpress.com.
So isn't your goal to knit a pair of socks in every colorway?
And I think, how many are there now? Like there are 18 or 20 something? Yes. So my goal is, I think this is Tequila Maker. No. It's My Party.
Oh, I can't remember now.
Oh, I have to look it up.
Let me check Ravelry. Oh, no, our...
It's My Party, or... Tequila Makes Your Socks Come Off is the one with the greens. Anyway.
Scrumptious.
Love it. And I have to say, I think I will be knitting I think there's a lot of sock knitting in my future. I am enjoying it immensely.
It's this one, right, Melissa? It's Pretty Young Thing.
Pretty Young Thing, of course.
There we go.
I mean, that's what I
am. In your dreams, baby.
Well, maybe not young.
I know we were kind of, when we first time we turned on this screen, and we were like, oh my goodness, seeing each other. We're young at heart, Melissa. The one thing that keeps us happy is that we're both the same age. So
exactly. Although you do point out that I'm 6 months older.
She's 6 months older than me. Can't you tell?
Okay. So last work in progress I think that I have going on right now. Actually, that's a lie. We have a lot of works in progress.
Well, we're not so bad. I have to say. I feel we're. No, you're not. I
have. You don't even know all the things I have.
You're hiding things from me. This is Melissa.
I have a lot of things that they're hibernating. Anyway, this is, let me just, I'm sure that anyone who follows us on social media, our blog, our Instagram, is sick and tired of me knitting this scarf.
And you're almost done. That's the funny thing.
I have been knitting this scarf forever. And the fact that it's taking me so long.
Isn't it since Vogue Knitting Live?
Yes. With last January.
January.
It
hasn't been a year yet, Melissa.
Okay, that's a long time for us. Anyway, I was sure I was going to have it to wear last winter.
Wait, there was something I was working on that my lino wrap.
Oh, yeah. Well, you finished it.
Yeah, but it took me over a year.
Anyway, so the fact that it's taking me so long to finish this is the unicorn stripe scarf by Antonia Shankland, another designer that I absolutely love. And it's knit with the Madelinetosh unicorn tail. So it's called Unicorn Stripes, the scarf. Yeah, I think you can kind of see. So the fact that it's taking me so long is absolutely, like I say, no commentary on my love for the pattern, my love for the colors, my love for the project. It's a very meditative, fun, fairly quick knit, actually. It's just that, you're knitting along, and then, something shiny and new catches your eye, and I'm a bit of a sucker for that. So that's what's happened. It's just sort of had to hibernate. It sort of waits its turn in between projects. There are 30 color changes. I am 3 away from finishing.
And just as you're putting that in, we were talking about Canadian yarns, but also we have Buku, which creates beautiful bags.
She's in Toronto, Aruna.
And you have your boxy tote.
Oh, my boxy
tote. We love Aruna. She's so beautiful, wonderful person to work with, so creative and accommodating, and always like, oh, Aruna, we just saw this. We love it. Can you add it to our order? So
she does all of these. This is all hand. She creates her prints and then screen prints them onto fabric. Okay, it's a ridiculous shot, but here we go. She And then her mom, I think, helps her sew
yes,
all of her.
And her husband cuts the leather handles, and her and her mom sew all the bags. So it's really in-house, really family, homemade, crafted. And she was recently in Montreal. We had an artisan fair called Puce Pop, and in the fall, and she was there, and I got to chat with her and see her new boxy totes. We have these in stock, I think, right? We still have some. Yeah, we don't have the Pepita, but we have other great.
We have reordered it. Yeah. So what's great is it opens wide. It's got a nice big opening. It's a great project bag. But then it's got these cute leather straps.
And it's interesting because she didn't really know about the knitting world. She didn't create things for the knitting world, but then she realized that knitters were really getting her products for knitting pouches and project bags. So she actually designed this one with the knitting world in mind, that it was a little bit wider than her other totes that she had made, and that they would be perfect for knitters. So she's
that's
like
the boxy tote.
Catering to us.
Yeah, this is like a basket just for, I just use these around the house for storing my works in progress, my many works in progress, or for just carrying projects around. And then we use these for notions cases. This is my little notions pouch, and it's got lots of little things in here we can talk about at another time. But I think and people in the States may be familiar with Buku through Fringe Association, because Fringe Association does carry some of her products as well.
We don't have any on us right now, but Zigzag Stitches is another one of our Canadian. Do you have one right?
Yeah.
Oh, you do. Perfect.
Right. Oh, that's another work in progress. Maybe I won't talk about that one today. But Zigzag Stitches is
Catherine in Sarnia,
and she keeps us in these beautiful boxy bags. And we just had a new order
come in, and we're really fortunate. We have so many great Canadian craftspeople, fabric designers, yarn producers. So it's nice. I don't think we realized before we got into the yarn business, we didn't realize
so much around us, right?
So much talent around us. So that's great. Can I talk about
sure.
So Bliss and I, we were just like, we like to mix it up every once in a while. We're like, it's time for something new, time for something different. And so we didn't go with a rebranding, but we did a little bit of an update of our business cards. So we work with this printing company called CDN Printing in Montreal. And Pauline Steve works for them, and she's a graphic designer. So we just asked her for a little refresh of our logo and our business cards.
So we went with the two-sided cards.
Exactly. So we did this two-sided card with this nice little graphic and this little pink edge. I don't know if you can see that little pink edge to give us a little thing. So that was really fun. And Melissa, I just brought them down.
Yeah, because I haven't really seen them in person yet.
We did all the designing over the internet.
There you can see the pink edge.
Yeah, it's great. And then we decided to update our gift cards as well. So we found these little envelopes on Etsy, and then Melissa had the great idea to put a little pink bar here so that you can pull it out, and then you can see. So it says in French, carte cadeau, and this is our little gift card. So we can put the amount and who it's from. So that was really fun too. So we did that, and then we did these little notepads, because I'm just like a total stationery girl.
Oh, we will be getting into pens and fountain pens and pencils and the whole thing. We just spent a lot of time this weekend in a pencil store of all places.
CW Enterprise in New York City. I'm like, I can't believe there's a pencil store. It was amazing.
We spent some time and some money there.
Yes. So we got these little pads made, and then we got these just on my way out after I got the business cards. I saw these. I called Melissa right away. Melissa, should we get these little highlighters? So
we got highlighters with our names on them. So we just give these away at the store, with purchases over a certain amount. But what's so great about them, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we use highlighters all the time when we're working our patterns, whether it's to highlight, your particular size as you're following a pattern, or things that you have to remember. So we thought that a highlighter should be part of every knitter's toolbox.
Exactly. So just cute little paper products that we love, and our staff, everyone's into paper and pens and notebooks and stuff. So
and planners.
Oh, planners, and that's a whole other thing.
We'll get into that. It seems like that's a whole other podcast.
Exactly. So did you just want to our little
why don't you go ahead?
over here? So
can you reach it? Yeah. I think I alluded earlier to the fact that we are in the process of developing a new pattern.
and I had the pleasure of wearing this.
I know.
On the plane.
As I take it off, it's a store sample.
What are you doing wearing that?
I don't know if you can see this, but this is, how beautiful is it?
Do you want me to hold it while you explain?
I just want to see.
There's the halo.
There's the halo because, of course, we had to strand with Silk Cloud again.
From Shibui.
Shibui Silk Cloud. And I don't know if you can see all the color changes, the beautiful color changes in this yarn, but a new to us yarn in the store this year, or this season, is Debbie Bliss's Donegal, Fine Donegal.
Yes.
It's a tweed, and it is exquisite. And
it's a bit of a thick.
The only thing that could be more exquisite is Fine Donegal stranded with Silk Cloud.
Oh, here I have it right here, Melissa.
Okay.
So this is for her next project that I brought.
So I'm gonna knit. I'm gonna cast this on. We're hoping to have that. Okay, we're competing here. Okay.
What should I do? Should I do that?
Okay, so this is the tweed, and so this is a first option. I want to cast this on for myself. So this is what a departure. So the tweed. Let's see if we can let it focus.
Yeah, I think you can see it's a little bit thick and thin.
Okay, and it's got. This one has a little bit of blue. It has some blue specks in it.
Some beige.
Some gray. Some beige. Stranded with the Silk Cloud in ivory. I think that's getting a bit blown out, but it's pretty good. So that's one option. The other option was to go with browns and charcoals. A very sort of warm, cozy option. I really can't decide. So I had to have Lisa bring both. Anyway, a beautiful pullover, really. I would say it's sort of boxy, but when it's on, it doesn't look or feel boxy. It's longer at the back than the front. Nice sleeves, but it's seamed with seam openings here, so it's kind of an ingenious construction, as you can see. A nice high neck. So we will be writing this up, I guess, over the next week or so, and hopefully, we have to have the photographer take some photos, and then hopefully have it published on Ravelry next week.
Mm-hmm. That's our goal.
That's our goal.
Our fingers crossed.
Going to hold us to it.
I know. Not that when we say it, then it's
exactly.
like, we have to do it.
Yeah.
So, so what do you think, Melissa? Oh, also my felted ring. I just wanted to talk about that. So Melissa made me the cutest little felted ring. You might have seen them on Instagram. So she did it with some
Heartfelt ring. What's her name? Tiny Owl Knits.
Oh,
but
yes.
I forget
Tiny
her.
Owl Knits. Super cute.
Anyway, this is the simplest. I was gonna. I think, is it a free pattern? And now I can't remember if it's a free pattern.
Let me check on Ravelry.
Yeah, because I don't want to give too many details of the pattern away if it's not free. Mm-hmm. But it is a ring that you can make in like 10 minutes. 10 minutes of knitting, and I would say 10 minutes of hand felting. I believe it's free because it comes with, she has like a little video tutorial and everything too that accompanies it online on Ravelry. So it's called Heartfelt Rings by Tiny Owl Knits. I'm pretty sure it's free.
And I guess it was a quick
little
knit.
It's like 7 rows of knitting.
Yeah, and it's so cute with the little heart. And it's so funny because
that's just stitched on afterwards.
Okay, that's
before you felt it, but
it's a free pattern.
It's a free pattern.
And it's funny because all day we kept washing our hands when we were in New York, and then we kept forgetting that Melissa had a black one on, and I had that one. But you know what? It dried in 5 seconds, so it was no problem.
And if it stretches out, you can just wet it again and then felt it.
Yeah,
and it's just hand felted.
Yeah, it's great. You don't need it for all the people who only have top loading.
So they're super cute. And so I actually think that's a really good little project for people to make as Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts.
And they're really pretty. Like, I mean, I'm a big ring wearer. I usually wear like a big stone ring. And so I wore this one and I just think it looks fabulous. Yeah, I love looking at my hand when I'm writing with my beautiful fountain pens in my beautiful notebook with my beautiful pen. Made with love by partner.
By your partner. So should we wrap it up then,
I think we're good. I think...
okay. Yeah, well, thank you for sticking with us. If you've stuck through the whole hour and 10 minutes, I think. I think that went okay.
Yeah, I think so.
You think it went okay?
We were a little nervous at the beginning. We weren't too sure, a little self-conscious because we're looking at ourselves.
Yeah.
And Melissa and I have such a spontaneous relationship, and we didn't want to be too planny because we just wanted to be who we are naturally. So
yeah. So if we're happy with this in playback, it might be posted this week, and then depending on feedback and whether or not there's interest, we'll continue.
Right. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Keep you guys posted.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Here we are.
Hello, and welcome to. Oh no, Lisa, we can't.
Okay, we're just
we're Melissa and Lisa of Espace Tricot, and we thought that we were going to give this podcasting thing a go. Oh my God, you're not going to talk.
I am.